The people versus the Democratic establishment, the coming attack on progressive candidates. And an ad popped up. Gross. With the public increasingly rejecting the neoliberal consensus that has dominated the Democratic Party for decades. And keep in mind, when they say neoliberal, what's quote-unquote liberal about being neoliberal? The answer, nothing. Neoliberalism has infected the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. When they say liberal and neoliberalism, they mean the liberalization of markets. They mean deregulation. They mean capitalism. They mean let the CEOs do what they will. That's what neoliberalism is really all about. And in the contemporary United States, the fact that the words liberal is in there throws off a lot of people. So I like to refer to them as corporate apologists or Starbucks conservatives. I don't even call them latte liberals, again, because there's nothing even liberal about them. They're not even the Phil Oakesong level of liberal at this point. They're conservative. With the public increasingly rejected the neoliberal consensus, which we explained what that has dominated the Democratic Party for decades. Kate asks, what is a Starbucks conservative? I identify a Starbucks conservative as the kind of establishment Democrat wing. Peter Dow is a Starbucks conservative. Hillary Clinton is a Starbucks conservative. Doug Jones is a Starbucks conservative. That's what I mean. Basically, neoliberals. They're Starbucks conservatives. Joanne Reed is a Starbucks conservative. Because they're someone who is, well, someone who's posing as a progressive, basically. I call them Starbucks conservatives. Or corporate apologists. Take your pick. Near its hand in, Joe points out. Dem light is another way to put it. Forever voting third party points out. Abel says posers. Latte liberals. I know people like latte liberals, and I like that too, because I love alliteration. But I also I just wanted to I wanted to take the term liberal away from that group. I really do. All right. So getting back to this, with the public increasingly rejecting the neoliberal consensus that has dominated the Democratic Party for decades, establishment Dems have a mission to complete in the coming years. They need to convince voters that a neoliberal candidate who is funded by the donor class is in fact a populist social democrat like Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren. They must then fool the left into voting for a representative of the neoliberal wing of the party. Let's not let them fool us. This is where we stand at the start of 2018. The grassroots base is too strong to be totally ignored, but powerful forces hope it is weak enough to be successfully manipulated. Yeah, and let's underline that first part. We're too strong to be totally ignored. They know that now. They know that now. That's why when I tweet Randy Bryce and say, hey, stop ignoring progressive media, that's advice that he should probably take. That's not me throwing some purity test out there or whatever you want to call it. That's not me, being unreasonable. That's not me not giving the guy an open ear. I do have an open ear for the guy. I want to hear it from his mouth. I want him to clear up some things about his stances on pipelines, where he's actually at with single payer one way or the other. Cappuccino conservatives. Oh, Marcus, I think you nailed it. Cappuccino conservatives. Progressives are already expecting strong efforts to undercut potential presidential candidates who will not strictly adhere to the party's corporatist ways. By the way, just to be clear, because I did tweet Randy, I just want to make sure he does mention single payer on his website. But he also kind of uses some neoliberal talking points when he's on certain shows. So just looking for clarification. Let's see here. Progressives are already expecting strong efforts to undercut potential presidential candidates who will not strictly adhere to the party's corporatist ways. An NBC Wall Street Journal poll shows 85% of voters polled agree with this statement. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the reward of government while the people have borne the cost. A recent report, Autopsy, the Democratic Party in Crisis, funded by Action for a Progressive Future, shows these concerns may be justified. The party experienced a fall off of voter turnout and support among people of color, the young, and the working class. Yeah, the Democratic Party is losing people in droves. They are bleeding members. The report cites, for example, an 11% drop in black women voters in 2016, normally the Democrats' most reliable voting bloc. A poll in spring of 2017 found that 2/3 of the public sees the Democratic Party as out of touch with the concerns of most people. Establishment Democrats have numerous methods with which to keep the progressive grassroots and their candidates from succeeding. They will blur the distinction between neoliberal elites and candidates who reflect an actual shift away from neoliberalism. They will rely on corporate media allies and their many powerful surrogates to help shape the narrative. And they can rely on the existing electoral processes from the DNC, staffed mostly with establishment loyalists. This, of course, in addition to traditional dirty tricks and opposition research. All right, so what is, this is all stuff we know. So what's kind of the theme of this article? If the theme of this article is the DNC plays dirty and the Democratic Party really does not want progressives in it, that's stuff we already know. This is a good summary. All right, so let's get to the bottom of this. This is a really good summary, but you know, I don't feel the need to rehash some of the themes that we kind of talk about every day. This is the kind of tactic we will see. Okay, progressives. All right, so here's the theme here. Progressives have been talking about transforming the Democratic Party since the early days of the 2016 primary. The 2020 presidential election will be an important test to gauge whether the establishment's iron grip on the party can be weakened in a serious way. We should be getting more involved in electoral politics since we have proof that Democratic Socialists can get elected. We will need all the allies we can in 2020, pushing the Democratic Party from the inside. And you need to keep in mind that the Democratic Party is working against you. You know, the DCCC is working against you. The DNC is working against you. It's very weird. And this is a great article and a great summary. Edwin, thank you so much for sharing. It was a really well-written article, really good summary of what's really going on with neoliberalism, what's going on with the corporate Democrats, etc. Hey guys, thanks for watching. That was a clip from Get Your News On with Ron, the world's first viewer-curated streaming news show. What does that mean? That means I log on to a stream and people tweet me articles over on Twitter at Ron Placone, or they use our Reddit subsection, which is just Get Your News On with Ron over on Reddit. And that's how we build the show. I'm seeing all these articles for the first time. We are literally getting our news on together. Follow me on Twitter at Ron Placone so you can participate. And this show streams live every Tuesday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please do tune in. If you want to support this show, you can do so over on patreon.com/Ron Placone, where for as low as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive podcasts every week, exclusive videos, free tickets to shows when I'm performing in your town, and more for as low as $1 a month. Please do consider it. Thank you so much for your support. This has been Get Your News On with Ron.